Hello and welcome back to Friday Minis. Now, the world of web programming is filled with many interesting fancy terms. Boilerplates, bootstrapping, all of these terms have some significant meaning. Today, we're going to examine one of these terms, and that would be webhooks, as you see in the title. In order to understand webhooks, we need to have at least some brief understanding of how, the internet works. As you know, the internet works in a client-server architecture. The server refers to computers owned by any kind of web service, be it Facebook, be it Google, and the client is just you as the user, right? Your web browser is the client that is accessing the contents of the server. Of course, both sides can do their own processing, and that is how, say, when you submit a comment on Facebook, your client sends it up to the server knows what to do with it, and the next time you're viewing that post, that comment, which is saved, gets sent back to you. That's basically the web in a nutshell, right? But that's not the main focus here. The idea is that there are servers capable of doing processing that exist out there. Now, here's the deal. What if you want to tell a server to do something, but you're not really doing it in the context of requesting a web page? As you can imagine, there are a variety of ways in which you can do that. A server ultimately is just a computer, right? How you want to talk to the server depends on what software is installed on the server. You can always set up something special, right? Something that listens to a special kind of network connection. You can talk to it on that particular port. You decide on how the two devices can communicate. Everything will work just fine. But what if we don't want to do that? What if we want to use just a normal standard? If we go back to the context of the web, a server is already set up, right, to listen to requests for web pages. It's already set up to respond. So why not just stick to the standard? Why install additional software? Why set up additional protocols? That, ladies and gentlemen, is webhooks in a nutshell. Essentially, what you can do is you can set up a web page on your server that's essentially just a target for someone to connect to. Now, the person connecting could send some information to that particular URL. Or alternatively, they could be sending just a generic message and a URL responds with something, right, based on what they've requested for. This in a nutshell is what a webhook is. It's just sitting there waiting for someone to connect, and that will provide them some service. In the real world, there are some ways in which this could be extremely useful. Let's say we have two services, right, service A and service B. And the idea is that when you do something on service A, you want it to basically tell service B to do something in response. Service B could set up a webhook. The idea is that it has this thing that is sitting around waiting for someone to tell it that something has happened so that it can actually trigger off. Then what you can do is set up service A, tell service A that whenever I do something here, make a web request to this particular URL on service B. Now, whenever you do something, service A triggers off the webhook of service B. The moment service B is aware that something is happening, it goes ahead and triggers itself off, right? It does what it needs to do. That, ladies and gentlemen, is webhooks in a nutshell. Definitely something very interesting, definitely something that allows integration across multiple services. So yeah, a great tool to have. That's all there is for this episode of Friday Minis. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, you're watching 0612 TV with NERDfirst.net. Thank you very much for watching. If you like my work and are feeling generous, you can shoot me a one-time donation on PayPal or sign up for a recurring one on Patreon. Of course, you can simply like, comment, and subscribe. You know the deal. For more videos, links to my channel and a related playlist are on screen. Thank you for your support.